Everyone has joined? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry for interruption. So what we are talking, the process of individualization needs individualization. That means during case taking, Hahnemann has given a complete, almost complete directives, but you should not use all and everything upon every patient. This needs again what suits for this complaint, where it is fixed, you should stop here, where it is fixed, you should stop here. And again, in a different way on different individual, according to their need of their gender, according to the need of their age, according to the need of their nature, according to the need of their nature of the disease, XYZ different things, according to the need when you are stuck together. And this is required. Again, this sentence, when you will start studying this section, you will find that many aphorisms start with if, or in between there is written if. At all these points where it is written if, Hahnemann is saying what? If still you have not achieved your goal. What? That I have told you to write down the top of your aphorism. Individualization. If you have not achieved it, then ask more. If you have not achieved it, then ask more precise question. Then if you have not achieved this, ask more detail. Ask more detail. Only if you have not achieved this. And that is the beauty of this case taking, that he is very initially saying that when you will study aphorism number 83, just he is saying that what? Here I am giving you a general direction. A general direction. But you have to make it a special for every special case. This general direction, you have to utilize it in a special way, in a specific, in a individualistic way, to different type of patient, different needs of the patient. And then he is again further in the journey of this case taking, he has mentioned in different places the word if. While going to the if, I will describe you. He is saying, if you have not achieved yet, ask more question. If you have not achieved yet, ask more detail of the question. If you have not yet clear in individualization, go for the more detailed information. And so when you will follow that if, why it is written here, you will automatically come to know that how to differentiate your case taking for different individual during different purpose, and that will justify my saying that the process of individualization needs individualization. So what he is saying, this aphorism number 83, that this general direction you should use in a special way. And next is Here, he is again warning the physician before you begins the case taking that you must inculcate in yourself, you must impart in yourself certain qualities. Regarding qualification, Hahnemann has discussed in aphorism 3 and 4. Regarding qualities, one quality he has given in aphorism number 6, be unprejudice. But still here, he is emphasizing certain qualities. Anyone again having your textbook with you? Just read those 4 qualities given in this aphorism.
Nothing but freedom from prejudice.
Just
And
mark it separately, circle it. First quality.
And senses.
Sound senses. What does it mean, sound senses? Mark it clearly. Acha, first read that 4 sound senses again.
In observing. And fidelity in tracing the picture of disease.
Okay. So, what is sound senses? Anyone?
So, physicians should be sensitive to pick up those fine gestures of the patient while asking certain questions.
Anyone else?
Must be very sensitive.
Anyone else? What do you mean by sound senses? You can unmute your video. Mic.
गुड इवनिंग सर.
Good evening.
सर साउंड सेंसेस का मतलब सर आंखों से देखना है और कानों से सुनना है. मतलब स्मेल, मतलब जितने हमारे सेंसेस है 5 सेंसेस, उसको यूज करना है. नाक से स्मेल आ रहा है, गंध, ऑफेंसिवनेस आ गया तो उसको पता चल जाए, उसकी मेडिसिन लेकर आ जाए. और कान से सुनना है कुछ वहाँ, तो मतलब साउंड्स का और स्मेल, मरीज को सेंसेस को यूज करना है, उसको देखना है हमें. स्मेल में आकर पेशेंट के यहाँ एंट्री किया, कुछ स्मेल आया तो पेशेंट से कुछ मेडिसिन है जो इंडिकेट होती है हमारे लिए. फिर आंखों से देखना उसका कैसे बैठ रहा है, और इस तरीके से मतलब जैसे अपने सेंसेस को यूज करके वहाँ पे
Good.
देखना
You
है.
are right. Here, just simple. Sound here means healthy. Here, sound doesn't mean sound, voice. Sound means healthy. So, sound senses, you should be in healthy state of your health, of your senses. If you are not healthy in your senses, because your observation, your perception of the patient will appear from all your senses. If you are not in a proper state of health, you may not be able to perceive the patient properly with your eyes. You will not be able to smell the patient's different forms of smell, especially while patient is talking, if he is having a bad sweat, if he is having the bad odor from the mouth, XYZ. Regarding taste, I am not going to advise you to use it. You ask to your patient and relatives about this. You can touch your patient. If you are having cold and cough to yourself and you are taking the case taking, how can you identify the foul breath of muck sole in your patient? How can you identify the acrid sweat of creosote in your patient? So these are the qualities that again in general direction, Honeyman is again giving these qualities that these must be checkpoints before you go for the case taking. Check it out that is it okay, okay, okay. If there is difference, if there is something not very clear, then keep someone to assist you so that they can do some work on behalf of you. That is not given in this textbook, just I am advising it. So you should not ask where it is written in the Organon. What Honeyman is saying, utilize this general direction in a special way. You must check out your checkpoints that these 4 points must be clear. What is about fidelity in tracing the picture? Anyone?
सर फिडिलिटी फिडिलिटी मतलब होता है सर जो बोल रहा है उसी को उसी फॉर्म में नोट डाउन करना है
और कुछ?
जैसे
सर लॉयल रहना पेशेंट के वर्शन के साथ, पेशेंट्स वर्शन.
That is very much important, that is somehow related to your being unprejudiced and XYZ. That especially sometimes if you are not alert during your case taking, then you may got many type of gap, and then after you will try to fill with your highly qualified knowledge, because you will have an idea that I am the most smart one, I am the most intelligent one, I know everything XYZ. So whatever smartness you have, keep aside and note down only what is observing, only what you are getting with your senses, and only with your these 5 senses. While observing, do not use your 6th sense. Afterwards, you utilize it. So this fidelity is nothing but warning to introduce your 6th sense in this stage. It can be very smart, expert, your 6th sense, but during case taking, Honeyman is warning, you use this fidelity, that is not to introduce your 6th sense. If you will restrict it, then you will follow this. Okay?
सर अगर कोई पेशेंट झूठ बोल रहा है और आपको लग रहा है ये झूठ बोल रहा है तो वहां पे तो हम हो गए ना, हमने अपना फिडिलिटी यूज कर लिया।
उसका
अब यहाँ पे कैसे?
उसका जस्टिफिकेशन बाद में करेंगे, अभी बोलने तो दो पेशेंट को, allow him to speak.
तो सर जो वो बोलता है वो वैसे ही लिखना चाहिए या फिर मतलब
That also I will tell you
फिल्टर करके लिखना
in the
चाहिए?
next aphorism. I will tell you regarding this, just very next aphorism. But first, let him cheat. If you are aware, then you should be very happy that you are getting an important symptom very initially. If you are not aware, then you get hurted by someone's cheating. If you are aware, then you are playing, enjoying the cheat. You are again using your knowledge that in how many ways one can cheat. Enjoy it because you are aware. You get hurted only if you are not aware. So while observing, while noting down, just observe, just note down. Here you are not going to analyze and evaluate. Here your duty is to just collect A policeman, if in the police station, is going to decide whether he is guilty or whether he is not guilty, then what the court of law will do? That is the jurisdiction of the court of law. A policeman has duty to note his or her complaint. He is not going to decide. He is not allowed to go and decide a decision, give a decision. His duty is to note his complaint. Take this information, investigate yourself, but still do not go for the decision. Tell your investigations to the court of law, he will decide. So take
सर
this.
एक और क्वेरी था,
हम्म,
सॉरी इंटरप्ट कर रही हूँ मैं।
जी जी
सर हम
बोलिए।
वो जो पढ़ते हैं पीयर स्मिथ का केस टेकिंग, तो
हम्म,
उसमें तो वो बहुत कुछ बताते हैं कि लोगों के प्यूपल्स देखो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हो रहे हैं कि नहीं हो रहे हैं या
हम्म,
डायलेट है, ये बात बताते हुए कि नहीं। तो ये
आई
सब
डायग्नोसिस
चीजें जी,
आएंगे,
तो ये सब अच्छा
आएंगे वहां पे भी आएंगे। पीपल देखो, देखने से भी पहले पीपल आई कांटेक्ट आएंगे। अभी तो अभी बहुत सारा पार्ट है, यू मस्ट हैव, बिकॉज सर्टेन टेक्निकल पार्ट आल्सो आई विल टेल यू that if you are yourself having a feeling of shyness during case taking, if you thought that if I am looking at the patient, what she will thought, what she will think, what he will think, whether he is thought that I'm staring her, then all with all this delusion and confusions, you are not going to have your case taking. You must be very ethical in your motive. That is very required. And being ethical in your motive, you have to go and do all the work. So if you are in a state of shy, then you are not able to go and take the case properly. If you are not having an eye contact with the patient, you are not having to go and see and observe the patient. Many things I will discuss it later on
हेलो
with
सर।
all further references. Yes.
सर ये जो फर्स्ट लाइन है, द इंडिविजुअलाइजिंग एग्जामिनेशन
Hmm.
ऑफ अ केस ऑफ डिजीज, तो
Hmm.
एक सर्टन डॉक्टर था वो बोलता था इंडिविजुअलाइजेशन ऑफ द डिजीज करने को हैनमन बोल रहा है, बट हम सोचते हैं कि इंडिविजुअलाइजेशन ऑफ द पेशेंट होता है। तो एक्चुअली रियलिटी क्या होता है सर? इंडिविजुअलाइजेशन ऑफ द डिजीज होता है कि इंडिविजुअलाइजेशन ऑफ द पेशेंट होता है?
There is no need for hyper explanation. The things are written. Just read the sentence. You have your answer yourself. Just read.
The individualizing examination
Huh?
of a case of disease,
Of a
of a case of a disease,
of a
of a case,
again of.
individualization of the case होता है,
So it is individualization of disease or case of disease.
case of disease।
It is clear.
तो पेशेंट कहाँ रह गया सर?
तो केस किसके बारे में कह रहा है?
पेशेंट होता है, केस इज पेशेंट।
बात खत्म. It is not individualization of a disease, of a case of disease. A similar mistake many person do. Just read aphorism number 147 when Hahnemann is talking about a specific medicine. Just read that aphorism just once.
Whichever of these medicines that have been investigated as to their power of altering man's health, we find to contain in the symptoms observed from its use the greatest similarity to the totality of symptoms of a given natural disease. This medicine will and must be the most suitable, the most certain homeopathic remedy of the disease. in it is found a specific remedy of this case of disease.
This,
Case,
if
case, this
if
case.
if you will remove from here the word case, then it will specific as it is allopathy for fever paracetamol. But if you will keep this word, then you will find Mr. X suffering from fever having this belladonna is specific for Mr. X, not for the fever, but for the fever of Mr. X. For the fever of Mr. Y, it should be brania, it may be. For the fever of Mr. Z, it may be like Rustox. So when it is about a case of disease, it is talking about the individual. So individualization is for individual.
Patient, individual.
Am I clear? Just read once before we move to the next aphorism, this aphorism. If something else someone want to ask, just have a quick read loudly.
This individualizing examination of a case of disease, for which I shall only give in this place general directions,
So
of
you
which
must
the
highlight
practice
this general direction. And if someone having this doubt of whether disease or individual, then they should also highlight case of disease. Otherwise, general direction is to be highlighted. Go ahead.
of which the practitioner will bear in mind only what is applicable for each individual case.
Mind it.
Demand
Mark it in a different color. That's why I told you. Many times it become a very bad notion to the society that many patient tells that homeopathic doctors asking too much. I don't have enough time. If I will have time, then I will go. There is nothing too much. That should be related, that should be needed. And certain times, if it is not needed, in the lack of awareness, and you are just going asking, keep on asking and asking with so much of irrelevant informations, then this will definitely be troublesome, not only to the patient but to yourself also. But what you need, you must be clear in your mind. And that's why it is called, do not be so wrongly obstinate that Honeyman has given these much information that I will ask everything. Before that, you must read this aphorism. And what is needed, what is required at that case, that much should be applied from all these general direction. Okay, go ahead.
only for demands of the physician nothing but freedom from prejudice and sound senses, attention in observing, and fidelity in tracing the picture of the disease.
Okay. So these are the four qualities that I have told you. These are the four qualities, not qualification. These are the four qualities. Along with, also it is repeated here, being unprejudiced, that what Honeyman has told in aphorism number 6. So these are the qualities, and now onwards you must be having a clear concept that qualities of a physician is different thing and the qualification of a physician is different thing. That qualification is given in your aphorism number 3 and 4, and quality is this. In the for regarding quality and qualification combined, you will again further in certain aphorisms 98. I will go on afterwards. Here, both are combinedly given. So, this aphorism, what it is telling you about? Here onwards, I am giving you a general direction. You should use what is required in your case, and before you are going to use, you take a checklist of your preparations, of your qualities, and then go ahead. Then in aphorism number 84, a very important thing that is being first given, that I should give you from in a different directions. The most important thing is first before you start conversation. ये तो preparation की बात हो गई till 83. Now how to prepare, how to be ready for that. When you are in front of your patient, first make your patient comfortable. The first and most important thing is make your patient comfortable, even if it requires something different to discuss, something different, casual way to relax the tense state of the patient. Many times, many patients have a different type of awkwardness, anxiety, this and that, so many things. So first try to relieve the patient, make it ease the patient. And that's why it is told that first tell the patient to be comfortable and describe yourself freely. You cannot do this until and unless you will make the patient feel relaxed in front of you. You cannot do this until and unless you will make the patient feel comfortable, reliable with you. So your first action is start from here. Make your patient feel comfortable with you. And then advise your patient to describe your complaint, to describe yourself as detailed as you can. And then shut your mouth. Do not poke between each and every sentence. Just speak this much. Make your patient comfortable with your words, with your gesture, with your body language, with your eyesight, with your tone of words. Not just be comfortable. So you have to impart everything, your action, your body language, your tone, your way of speaking, your way of seeing, everything. And then tell him or her to describe for whatever reason he is coming to you, explain it in detail, and just shut up yourself. Start observing, listening. Start observing and listening. Here in this case, when you start observing and listening, very important thing that just right now what Dr. Naina was asking, one thing is given, observe and write down in the very expression of the patient, used by the patient. What does it mean? Very expression of the patient.
सर जैसे पेशेंट ने बोला है उसी के वर्ड्स में लिखने की कोशिश करो, ना कि उसको अपना मीनिंग देके लिखो।
Okay, if patient is talking in Hindi, then you will write in Hindi or English?
सर मैं तो दोनों लिख देती हूँ जो समझ में आए, जो एग्जैक्ट वही मीनिंग दे जो पेशेंट बोल रहा है।
Many times I came to know about a word that many students tell me, that it is said that use the language of the patient, write in the language of the patient. Same thing is being described by many authors. that used in the same language of the patient. What is the language of the patient? What is the language of the patient?
Body language.
Dr. Asad was saying, but very politely, be loud.
Symptoms.
Of course, the language of the patient is symptoms. It is not Hindi, English, Urdu, literature. But we have a preformed notion. Whenever we see language, we go for literature. When someone is saying language of the patient, that means write down the symptoms. Even if the patient says that I have hypothyroidism, this is not the language of the patient. This is the deviated language knowledge of the patient. Ask the patient what you are suffering from. What you know about your suffering, leave it. Very frequently we confused when patient use certain words of diagnosis and XYZ. Language of the patient, use symptom. When patient says that I have suffering from gastritis, I have suffering from diarrhea, I am suffering from diabetes, XYZ, let the patient speak, then ask, now describe me your complaint. That is the language of the patient. And again, for this, I would like to say, it is, I frequently use this because it is my very personal experience in early years of my starting of the teaching in this Gratanoda. One evening, I think it was 6:30 or something, a patient came to me and she said that, डॉक्टर साहब जब हाथ धोते हैं तो जलता है. I'm using this Hindi because it is as told by the patient. डॉक्टर साहब जब हाथ धोते हैं तो जलता है. Then I ask, just show me your hand. So she just get certain type of awkwardness. नहीं समझे, जब हाथ धोते हैं तो जलता है. She told me 3 times. I asked 3 times. Then I realized that something is going differently. So I take help of some local people at there along the, just in front, especially from my reception area, and I try to just understand because he also belongs to the same locality. Okay, if she is saying this, what does it mean? Because at that time I was also very new in that place. So he told me that haath dhona is what a process after going to your bathroom, after going stool, when someone is cleaning, that process is called haath dhona. That means it is a symptom of fissure when someone is using the water and there feels in fissure a severe burning. So now what you will write? Burning in palms. This is again many a times many patients have their regional expression of certain complaint that you should also note down, that you should also be aware of that, so that you can exactly know the language of the patient. So the most important thing is here what he is saying, write down in the right expression used by the patient. That means what is the exact its complaint, its saying, its sensation. Someone is describing that, Doctor, I have a colic, with a smiling face, with all 32 brightening teeth are showing its light. And if someone is saying with full of anguish, Doctor, there is a colic. While saying someone that I eat sweet, if someone says, oh, sweet is my favorite, with all the brightness of the eyes, watering in the mouth, if you are not observing it, if you are not taking this, you are just taking the sweet, not with this accessories of the sweet, then you will miss. That all you will miss when you have to evaluate your case. That what Dr. Soumya was telling just right now is here. That is important when you are going for this 153. So I think just now 2 or 3 minutes is there. So this aphorism needs information about. One more thing, just let me tell this before finishing it. You advise your patient to be comfortable, note with exact expressions of the patient, shut yourself by advising, make your patient comfortable. But one exception is there. That one exception is, Honeyman is saying here, if your patient is started talking and deviated from the subject, as it happens in lachesis and likewise with loquacity, in those conditions, you are allowed to again open your mouth and keep your patient to the subject. Otherwise, she will start or he will start going discussing these all information which are not at all related. So if the patient is having a wandering nature in their descriptions, so this exception is being utilized here to ask and keep your patient on the subject. Am I clear? So once again, read these two aphorisms at your home. If any doubt, we will again discuss in the next class. And then in next aphorisms onwards, what Honeyman is saying, how to write down your cases, we will discuss. That is also very important. And again, I will give you Honeyman's emphasis and acknowledgement of complete symptom. Because while writing down, he is also having in mind the place for complete symptom. I will describe in the next class. Okay? Thank you
Thank
very
you, sir.
much.
Thank you, sir.